lot of bullshit. And I realized that all that stuff will get done when it gets done. There's no point in stressing about it, worrying about it right now. Because it's taking away from this moment right now. If you want peace, you have to let go. You can trust yourself. Trust that. You can do what you have to do.
There's no getting back from that.
That's not a concern. Because the only thing of concern is right here, right now. Because nothing will give you peace. No place, no amount of wealth, no love is going to give you peace until you gave yourself that peace.
Oh man, dude.
It starts when you can be yourself. Because nowadays we can distract ourselves from ourselves. We go on the phone while we're by ourselves. You don't need
Unless you want to get barbecued.
to run away.
That or not for the count. Charging on my shit. Heads up, we're not alone.
Now I'm serious. Try this. Next time you're sitting in your room by yourself, disconnect. Turn your phone off. Put on
Enemies right here.
Start right there. Right when you disconnect, you are all alone.
I'm here. So let's get you a do-over, huh?
You better get to know
Care
yourself.
package coming
You
down.
better get to love yourself. You don't know who you are.
Fire. Wings out.
Beware, ask yourself. What do you react when you know what is out there?
Charging up my shields.
And then let go. No matter what it is, just let go. Most likely thoughts of the future, thoughts of the past. Let it all go. Take some deep breaths.
Got the banner. Let's bring him home.
Bring
Confirmed
peace to
kill on
yourself.
the squad.
You give yourself the peace and happiness that you are looking for. Peace will always stop.
Wings up.
Will always stop.
I'm here. So let's get you a do-over,
Alright
huh?
guys, catch you next time. Throw me a thumbs up, subscribe.
Charging on my shield.
Litter robot. The revolutionary self-cleaning litter box that eliminates the chore of scooping, reduces litter tracking, and traps odors.
Got ourselves a bandit out there.
Charging on my shield.
After your 10 exits,
Charging
litter
over
robot
here.
automatically
Stock here.
separates the
Level
dirty
2.
crumbs from the clean litter into the tightly sealed drawer below. Always leaving a fresh bed of... The Joe Rogan Experience.
So the Atlantis.
So the Rashad structure. I was wondering if you saw this video.
Yeah, no, that was a different one I saw because I've been fascinated by
Wings out.
ever since I had this conversation with Frederick Carlson and Andrew Dryson and this concept that somewhere roughly around 11,000, 12,000 years ago, we were hit by a series of comets. And it's pretty evident that that's back. You can use the core samples of the Earth, they find this nuclear blast all over the Earth that exists in that
Let's start this
time period.
quadrant out here.
And it seems like something happened that reset civilization. And there's very little
Wings up.
evidence of
scan
advanced
this
civilizations before that, up until recently, up until the last couple of decades.
Wings out.
Things like Gobekli Tepe and all those other structures that are clearly from more than 12,000 years ago. And they're really complex and really large with enormous stones. And it's sort of caused people to rethink the history of the Earth and the history of human civilizations. And Atlantis has always been the big one. That has been the one that everybody talked about, was this incredibly advanced civilization, and no one could figure out where it is.
Right.
Or if it was real.
I think that Atlantis, because surely that wouldn't have been necessarily the name, just through like the change of language, you know, over let's say 12, 13,000 years ago would be the time frame. So like surely there would be several different changes of language, but I think it represented a civilization that was doing great things. They were more global than what many people think would be
Bogey
possible.
spotted out there.
Atlantis was said to be
They're using that
or an empire.
I can't say it right now, but yeah, they're using that thing. I just have a feeling. I know they're all in there.
Which was said to be made of
Let's try and get up on the roof.
to water-free land, and essentially that they were obliterated by a cataclysm,
Wings out.
as passed down by Plato, although it's worth mentioning that Plato got the story of Atlantis from Solon, who was his uncle, separated by 6
Taking
generations.
fire.
Hit my ult.
Ready for burn. The armory here.
Oh, what the fuck? They're shooting from here.
Which makes it even more bizarre.
They're up on the hill. What the? They're shooting from two directions. What the fuck? I'm sandwiched by snipers. There's people over there and to the left.
I really wanted a friend of mine just went, and she got back and she was telling me incredible things about it. Can we pull up the photos of these concentric
Just a
circles?
sec. Clearing up.
Yeah, the Rickshot, R-I-C-H-A-T. It's worth mentioning that, yeah, in the first couple of I just want to say Rickhots, I used to call it Rickhots, I was mispronouncing it. But let me ask you this. When you saw him when you was like the very first time you had ever seen this thing before?
Yeah.
That's so when I first saw this, I was like,
Reloading.
this was unusual. And people,
Charging
let
on my
me just say,
shields.
you mentioned Graham Charles and Graham Hancock. I love that. And I know for sure that they don't particularly this is the site for a few different reasons. Let me say there's absolutely even I'm not 100% certain. I'm not even 100% certain Blanchard existed. What I am certain is that humans were doing spectacular things and event happened called the Other Tribes.
Dude, you're really gonna steal my kill like that?
Alert 5, Valkyrie actual. Ready for burn. How copy? Burn is good.
I see allegedly. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. I'm just saying I'd like to know
Your seat.
sometimes they get
But you don't have a
figures wrong.
seat.
Like,
Hope you
explain to
confirm.
me why it was 100 million years ago and not 99 or 98, because here we are talking about how crazy things changed in just the last 12, 13,000 years. So when they throw out these numbers, 1 million years in itself is an incredibly long period of time, but getting back to your question, some had originally thought that maybe it was an impact site from an asteroid perhaps, but there's no evidence for it. There's none of the
The
nano.
problem is there's these concentric circles.
Rings close and we're
I've
still
never
on
seen
it.
anything.
Wings up.
Obviously, I'm not an archaeologist, but I've never seen anything like this. And if you study structures, they're like man-made structures. I've never
New
seen
kill
anything
leader.
like this.
But they haven't won yet.
But I've definitely never seen it. They're not all my churches, Jamie.
Please.
So is this?
You want to see something? All right.
What
I'm
is
sorry.
this? What do we
Okay.
get? So one step at a time. This is, we also have to take into consideration that people are just listening. Describe what we're looking at.
Okay, so what you're looking at is approximately 250 miles inland in the total barren desert of Mauritania, Africa. So the Western Sahara. That's just showing you
What
the.
it used to look like?
No, this is what it looks like right now through, I forgot what you called it, type of animation, but it's essentially the satellite imagery that they engage for you to see the difference in elevation and the actual structure itself.
Okay, so if there was water in this area, you would see it this way, but it would be these concentric circles above the water,
Wings out.
and the water would be inside of it like that.
Well, just to clarify, this particular image, no, this is not trying to represent water. So that blue is actually picking up on salt. So
Salt, all that is salt. But I mean, it used to be underwater, right? It's salt because it was underwater.
that's what I believe, and that's what makes the most sense to me. Others will disagree, and then it's like, why? It is currently 1,300 feet above sea level. It's 250 miles inland. And so some people say this was never under the ocean, at least not for the last tens of millions of years, is what the scientists claim. I argue that since the salt is still there, and not only that, Jimmy, if you go to the other images that show you more of the white, the one that you were
Charging on my
previously
shield.
on, the one to the middle or to the left, right there. So those areas with the most white blotches, these are areas that are the lowest in elevation, which to me tells me that salt water had settled there. But not only that,
Sergeant Shields, come on, come on. Must go faster.
Spotted a target over there.
Throwing jump pad.
Pacho, Atlantis was said to be, like we said, multiple rings of, water and land. However, it was said to open to the sea to the south. And what you're looking at here, The south, so this is oriented north, south, east, and west. What do you see to the south? And especially if you can get another.
This is very flat area. It looks like it's the lowest elevation. Like around it looks like it's higher. I mean, it's hard to tell from this image.
You can Google map it, just type in, even if you went to more convenience, you
Replicator on
can
its
see this
way
from
down.
space. Astronauts use it as a locator, and they weren't really familiar or aware of it until the Gemini missions in the early 1960s. So if you go to, like, if you just go to Google Earth, you'll be able to find this quite quickly. It stands out, and it's why they call it the Eye of Africa or the Eye of the Sahara. All right, so just stand out a little bit, and it'll provide us with a much. You keep going.
Taking fire.
All that. And Josh Gerson went out there and tasted that shit off the fucking
Recharging
ground.
shields.
That's salt. Because a lot of people say this was never under the ocean, and I'm like, all right, you see all that? Even
Layer 5. Ready to scorch for burn. Burn is above.
he favors these, or he doesn't think this is likely the location for humans
It's
to
traveling with small children. This is like an export. What's wrong with you?
Which would be, it's.
He thinks that was cleansed.
To him, he's partial towards that. But so he analyzed the site, and you see all those striations? How it looks like
Wonder what salvage I
the
can
ocean.
find over here.
So that's
Got
all
materials.
And if you scroll in, so remember when Larry was on the show and he showed you the Missoula floodplain and all those giant ripples from the huge current that it went through? This is here. So scroll in, right there where your cursor is leading. Yeah, scroll right in. You're going to see those same water ripples. Keep going, because this what you're looking at here is many miles. Like, keep on this structure is 30 miles across.
Crazy. That looks like the bottom of the ocean, like if you see where the water on the
Grafting over
sand.
here.
Yeah, and I have and that, just to clarify, that salt, or excuse me, that white salt, that is a, because that's, a lot of people don't know, Joe, that the Sahara Desert wasn't a thing until approximately 5,000 years ago. It's only in the last several years, and I'm quoting MIT research here, that the Sahara goes back and forth from green to desert approximately
Wings up.
20,000 years. They believe that's the middle of the earth until that's what's disgusting. But, so this whole area, because people are like, oh, that's not Atlantis. I'm like, first of all, if this is a whole, if the western, or excuse me, the Sahara Desert was
Wings
a
out.
lush green tropical paradise, which had the largest known freshwater lakes ever known to existed, for example, Mega Lake Chad, which is, it's like 3 times more water surface than all North American Great Lakes combined. Big sucker.
Holy shit.
2 squads left. Don't bail out on me
I know,
now.
well, it was when it existed, and that was at the time when the Sahara was green. And it also had some of the largest known rivers exist that are known in the world that today or something like that. People have to imagine that this area was once green, and that it had, because one of the arguments I made is that the fact that that salt is on top of that dirt, to me, is indicative that the ocean flowed over here far more recently than what people think.
How wide is this structure?
Okay, so,
This concentric structure?
Wings out.
do you have a laser pointer in here?
No.
Okay, so the circles themselves is about 14 and a half miles across. However, if you go big
Wings up.
shebang, the whole circle itself is just shy of 30 miles.
So the whole thing is 30 miles, which would be like the size of the city.
Right. Well, keep in mind the outer ring would have been water, so that wouldn't have necessarily counted. But some people say that this is too big according to Plato's description. And let me just say that I'm like, well, hold on a second. I don't think that we should consider that because of loss of translation that we should consider the measurements of key detail. The question becomes: is it big enough to be a city with possibly millions of people? Because the way it was described is that it was a city that's busy all night, rich in trade, with languages spoken from all over. So I'm like, okay, it would
I'm down.
large metropolitan areas like New York, Chicago, London, whatever. And so if this was indeed an ancient or site of an ancient civilization, well then it would have, I mean, they're obviously not going to have skyscrapers, so it would have to be an area big enough to sustain people in the rich structure and certainly does.
So the idea would be that this would lead out to the ocean. So it would be where the water is and the ridges would be where the structures are, where the houses and buildings are.
People say, now, look at it, not open literally. Well, it's the same.
You
Yeah,
are the
what's going on
Apex
with the
champions.
sand and those clear water erosion marks in the sand. But that also could be wind, right? Couldn't the way that the ripples in that sand, couldn't that be wind?
Both.